Liberia is among the least developed countries that is faced with the severe consequences of climate change. Climate change in Liberia is characterized with erratic weather pattern, slight increase in temperature, frequent tropical storms, and the increase in sea level rise. All these climate hazards are having severe impacts on the economic development of the country. At the Environmental Protection Agency, we work with relevant ministries, agencies, as well as international partners to address the issue of climate change. In this light, we welcome the intervention of the National Adaptation Plan of Action. The NAP, as you may know, is intended to address Liberia's medium and long-term adaptation needs. We welcome the support from the Green Climate Fund.
Using support from the Green Climate Funded National Adaptation Plan, which is the NAP, Liberia has made significant gains in its effort to combat climate change. The country was able to finalize and launch its national climate change and response strategy, which together with our nationally determined contribution to the Paris Agreement has provided clear direction on where we want to go as a country.
Because our national agenda is based on our National Development Plan, the PAPD, we are right now undertaking a review of the PAPD within the context of the COVID. And we also are using that opportunity to see how we can mainstream climate change into the PAPD to ensure that it's a holistic approach that we are taking for addressing climate change interventions. Despite the challenges that we have faced along the way, we are already beginning to see our donors supporting us to ensure that we have the capacity to meet those challenges.
The Ministry of Mines and Energy, through the NAP project, has been able to conduct climate vulnerability and risk assessment studies targeted at gauging future probable changes in furtherance of our desire to protect residents living in the vulnerable coastal zone. We have launched the Monrovia Climate Change Resilient Project. Under this project, in last year and part of this year, we were able to install 1,025 meters of revetments, otherwise known as seawalls.
During a stock-taking exercise for the formulation of Liberia's NAPs, inadequate human capacity and lack of data were identified as key barriers to climate change adaptation. The project has conducted various studies that have generated information and knowledge products to fill the knowledge gap in country while providing local and international training for more than 200 staff of government agencies. Many of the NAP scholars, including myself, have started to provide mentorship training to other experts within our agencies. We envision that we as NAP scholars and all of those we've mentored will become the next generation of climate change adaptation champions.
Some challenges encountered in the implementation of the NAP project are limited information on climate change and vulnerability studies, low institutional capacity on climate change adaptation and disaster risk reduction studies.
Through the implementation of the NAP project, we have realized that communities who feel the brunt of the climate change and disaster impact are the key people that we should look after. They play lead role in the implementation of this process.
The lesson learned is we are able to increase the number of local experts as it relates to tackling climate change in the country, and thereby reducing the number of our reliance on a number of international experts that are becoming in the country. With this, we would like to thank the Green Climate Fund through the NAPS project for establishing the program to help in knowledge management and sharing in the country. Thank you very much.
As party to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change and its Kyoto Protocol, Liberia has implemented various initiatives towards the fulfillment of specific obligations to ensuring sustainability. This includes the preparation of initial national communication, the second national communication, and the National Adaptation Program of Action, NAPA. The NAP project has identified sector-specific adaptation strategies and action plans that are needed in order to enhance resilience both at the national and local levels.
Liberia's NAPS project has prioritized actions that allow the country to meet objectives of the 3 international agendas. Climate vulnerability and risk assessment and data generated from the NAP have informed disaster risk reduction and the nationally determined contribution revision process that is currently ongoing.
Our support to Liberia in terms of sustainable development and climate change, which go hand in hand, is mainly to domesticate international protocols and make sure we have strategies and plans for implementation in Liberia. One of the key areas of support is the graduate program we introduced at the University of Liberia. This is a pioneer one and is so far going well.
Liberia's vulnerability to the adverse effects of climate change makes adaptation a national priority that has contracted commitment at the highest level of this government. Our country's mitigation efforts and potential due to the presence of the largest remaining portion of the Upper Guinea forest is something that we are determined and committed to harnessing to ensure that Liberia continues to contribute to global efforts in reducing greenhouse gas emissions.